This is the dawn of a new era in British karting. Over 550 drivers in 12 classes competing for victory over 18 race weekends. This is the Motorsport UK British Kart Championships. With the Rotax field descending on Forest Edge Kart Club for the first time in the British Kart Championships history, the junior Rotax crown was decided last time out by Kai Hunter. But there's an end-of-term atmosphere, as competitors such as Daniel Armstrong are hoping to end their season on a high.
This season's just been a lot more learning curve from where we were last season, so it's been a big step up from where we were. We really want to improve on qualifying, because we haven't had the best qualifying this season. So that's the main thing I want to focus on.
Ryan Taylor-Truman and William Ellsworth on the front row of the grid. For the last time in 2019, they will battle on Forest Edge's Kart Club circuit. Tom Adams and Will Jenkins from Taylor Babs and Tiernan Rourke, Jack Steadman, Chris Simpson, Ben Casey and Kieran Kay. For the last time in Rotax this year, it's Jake Sanson with you on the front row of the grid. We go into the first corner and racing. Ellsworth takes the lead and a great blast into that first couple of corners. As the junior Rotax field swarms its way through the first couple of corners of the lap, into the square left on the run down to Winges, and it's Ellsworth in front of Taylor-Truman. Adams is there in third position, just one little wobble in the midfield. That is the 33 of Josh Poulain, who runs a little bit wide on the curbs. But now Taylor-Truman is going to try and work with Will Ellsworth to get away. And it's a very exciting run through the bus stop. Oh, we've got one driver overshooting there at the bus stop by the look of it. So a bit of an issue there, and I think that is Brandon Klein-Nagelvoort maybe who overshot there at the chicane. We'll double check and confirm it. No, it isn't. It's not Brandon Klein-Nagelvoort. It is one of the play racing cars. I think that is going to be the 25 of Jordan Morris. So Jordan Morris overshot, and now he will get back into the action. But it's Ryan Taylor-Truman now out in front. Ellsworth is down to third. Taylor-Truman getting through and Taylor Adams following suit. So the battle is going to go down to the wire with Will Jenkins and Jack Steadman set to move up in the championship fight in the top 10 positions, wanting to end the year in a solid position. They've got every reason to be happy with their lot for the moment. But up in front it is Ryan Taylor-Truman who leads the race in front of Taylor Adams now, having got through, Tom Adams, sorry. And now it's Will Ellsworth up the inside. Here he goes, lovely job. So Will Ellsworth through the second place. Tom Adams is there in third. And Tom Adams trying to hold on to it, but it's a very big lunge on the inside from Will Jenkins, trying to come through and not able to make it. Tiernan Rourke and the 48 of Chris Simpson now up the order as well. But Tom Adams can't get by, and Will Ellsworth has been released there in second position. So their battle will continue late into the race, no doubt, but Will Jenkins really wanted to get third place away from Tom Adams, and he thought he had an opportunity there into the second corner, but he wasn't quite able to make it stick. So Taylor-Truman continues to lead. Will Ellsworth, having made his way up to second place, has got a bit of time on his hands now to play with. And we've had an off there on the exit of Midgets. That is another of the Clay Racing drivers. That looks to me like the 47 of Owen Allison. So Owen Allison has gone off the circuit and rejoined, having lost a couple of positions in the process. Some great racing in the midfield, lots of overtaking opportunities as drivers are getting stuck in. Looks like Oscar Houle and Brandon Klein-Nagelvoort have renewed their battle from the earlier repechage, and they will duke it out in the midfield as these guys up front are still racing for the final victory of the year. Oh, a bit of a mistake there in the bus stop. 2 or 3 drivers going to battle and trying to go for a move or two up in Midgets. It's a very tricky part of the course, this. But so far it is Taylor-Truman leading from Will Ellsworth. Third place for Adams. Then it is the 30 of Will Jenkins in front of the 52. That is Tiernan Rourke in front of Chris Simpson. Then Casey, Babs, Steadman, Walker, Kay, Hurd, Watts and Collins. Some sensational racecraft. The drivers continue to battle. Whoops, it looks as though Collins is going to get a bit of a hurry up from Charlie Knight. And Miles Barthorpe might be able to get past both of them. They go down into Winges and now back up the climb into the bus stop. And now up towards the right-hander at the edge of the forest itself. Oh, there's been a little bit of a fisticuffs on the exit of the bus stop. Two carts coming together there, and one going up in the air, just on two wheels up at the sharp end. I'll try and pick those two up as they come around again. One of them is the 28 of the hard-charging Harry Gibson, and he went over the back of the 34. Now that is a very tough battle for Max Edmondson, but unfortunately there's not a lot he can do about it now. He's just got to try and recover. But the two drivers getting very close in the bus stop. Ellswood, though, has caught up to Taylor Truman. What if Will Ellswood could end the year on the top step of the podium? That would really cement him as the third best driver in the season. He is third in the points and likely to stay there, but he would dearly love to win. He's right in there behind Ryan Taylor Truman. Taylor Truman still hanging on to the lead for the moment as he comes through. They had a really strong battle, but Ryan TT is leading the way, Taylor Truman. And then it is a very tough charge from behind for Will Ellswood. Adams is there in third place in front of the 30 of Will Jenkins, and then Rourke, Simpson, Casey, Babs, Stedman, Walker, Hurd and Watts. So Ellswood still charging after our race leader, Ryan Taylor Truman. But it is going to be a tough battle, but that we cannot really deny. Into the right-hander, Ellswood is still tightening up his grip on Ryan Taylor Truman up front. He really wants to give him a little bit of a hustle and then allow him in front to do all of the hard work, but he might want to have to make the overtake a bit quicker because Adams and Jenkins are closing in as well. So it's not done yet, and it's going to be quite the tight battle as they come through this time by. Ellswood with a chance to go for it on the back of Ryan Taylor Truman. No move into the inside line at Winges, back on the power as they come up the hill, and this is going to be a tough one into the bus stop once again. But so far it is Ryan Taylor Truman who holds the lead in front of Will Ellswood. Tom Adams isn't exactly dead in the water yet in third place either. He's not safe and sound. He's got William Jenkins riding underneath him. And then in fifth place we've got Chris Simpson. He's been charging his way forward. And Chris Simpson making some places. The 52 is next. That is a very nice move from Tin and Rock. And then Taylor Babs gets a nice move on Ben Casey at the end of the lap. So he gets through and makes up a place. And then behind them, Jack Stedman is waiting for an opportunity of his own. So Ellswood is still there, but he needs to overtake Ryan Taylor Truman quickly because Tom Adams and Will Jenkins are very quickly closing up. And there are four drivers here bidding for 3 spots on the podium. Somebody's going to get hung out to dry here. Someone's going to get left out. And this race is going to go down to the wire. So Ellswood needs to go for the move sooner rather than later here. Adams and Jenkins are closing in. And if he doesn't make the move inside, then they're going to get through beforehand. Oh, and there's a spin as off the circuit goes Machi Herrera and the 24 of Mars Barthel. So Mars Barthel goes off the road, Machi Herrera goes off as well. So I'm afraid Mars Barthel is going no further. That is a devastating end to the season for Mars Barthel. So he spins out. Machi Herrera goes off but rejoins in the midst of the Oscar Hall Brandon Klein Nagelbort battle. So those two are out of luck. Yellow flags will wave and that will tighten up the top 4 actually. Ryan Taylor Truman, Will Ellswood, Tom Adams and Will Jenkins, and they are being caught by Chris Simpson. Simpson is not done yet either. He's closing in on the top 4. So yellow flags wave. Miles Barthel walks away bitterly disappointed. But the battle for the victory is now right up. Tom Adams has got past Ellswood. Adams has gone for Ellswood and got through. I was looking in the midfield battle because there's plenty of overtaking moves there as well, and Adams has got past Ellswood in the time it took me to look away. So Adams is through in a second place past Ellswood with Jenkins still there in 4th. This is a brilliant opportunity now for Ryan Taylor Truman, and this is what I was getting at for Ellswood. He needed to get past Taylor Truman before Adams got past him. Otherwise, there was not really going to be much of a chance of going for the lead, and he may not get another opportunity. So we're going to the second half of the race now, and there's still terrific racecraft around the circuit here. As at every apex, every opening, and every opportunity, drivers continue to find a really good racer to battle with. But so far, Ryan Taylor Truman is looking to make it 2 out of 2, and that would put him up in 5th place in the driver's standings, just 4 points behind Taylor Babs. So if Babs were to have an issue, then Taylor Truman might be able to move up into the top 4. But this double victory at the end of the season is exactly where Ryan Taylor-Truman aimed to be. Tom Adams there in second in the race. He's also second on the track, and Jenkins has made the move now on Ellswood. So Ellswood really struggling. Jenkins defends to the inside line. He's defending with 6.5 minutes to go. Does Will Jenkins genuinely think he can't keep up with the Coles pair? Because if he thinks that, then he's defending with no attempt to try and close up on the guys in front. So it might be that Will Jenkins can only really bank on getting a third place finish. The two Coles Racing drivers are out in front, Taylor-Truman and Tom Adams, and they will finish where they are if all is well with the world, with these two drivers up front. Ryan TT in front of TA, Tom Adams, the E-plate. And the battle for third is really raging, as up the inside to fifth place comes Kieran Rourke. He gets through on Chris Simpson, he gets through on the 29 of Taylor Babs, who is now racing away with Casey and Simpson. Simpson gets wide, Casey's going to get through on the inside, and Stedman can't make the move as well. Heroic wheel-to-wheel stuff at the end of the season in the last 5.5 minutes of the Rotax year. But out in front, it is Ryan Taylor-Truman being caught little by little now by Tom Adams. The gap is down to less than half a second. So Ryan Taylor-Truman is not done. Tom Adams is catching him. And I think Tom Adams is going to want to end the year on a high with a victory. He knows he can't beat Kai Hunter in the points tally, but he will want to end the year with a victory to round off the year in style. But Ryan Taylor-Truman getting a final victory early on. He was in a very strong frame of mind, and he is going to be hard to beat. But the gap has come down slightly to 0.46. So Tom Adams is definitely catching Ryan Taylor-Truman. But will he catch him quickly enough with only 4.5 minutes or so to go? Certainly on the clock there's only 4.5 minutes to go, but then of course you've got to add on the additional bonus lap. A bit of a mistake from Will Ellswood as he tries to close back up on Will Jenkins. Puff of dust on the exit of midgets as they come across the line. The 65 of Ryan Taylor-Truman continues to hold the lead as they go into the first couple of corners of the lap. Through the right-hander and into the square left, down the drop into Winges. And so far, Ryan Taylor-Truman can continue to hold the pace. Looks as though we've got a problem. A mechanical breakdown at the back of the field. And it looks like there might be two of them, because there's a problem for the 47, that's Owen Allison, and then behind him there's problems aplenty for Oscar Hull, so he's in trouble as well. And I think he's going to have to get out of the way pretty sharpish and let the leaders come by. He gets off the racetrack completely, in fact, stops the car and lets the whole field swarm by. So Ryan Taylor-Truman leads the race in front of Tom Adams. Tom Adams is still pushing hard. Back on over the start finish line with Harrison Collins. Nearly gets hit into there by Kieran Kay. He gets back up the inside and battles in with Brandon Klein-Nagelvoort, who has been charging his way back. A great comeback. Oh no, sorry, that is his teammate. That is Reese Hurd. So Reese Hurd battling away. But unfortunately, it looks as though the 85 of Oscar Hull is going to bring it into the pits to retire from the last race of the year. Tom Adams, though, is still gung-ho as he tries to close up on Ryan Taylor-Truman. Will Ellswood, meanwhile, is doing the same to Will Jenkins up in front. He wants to get a podium here. And there's a warning flag that's gone out to the 91. That is the car of Jack Meakin. So Jack Meakin has been given a warning. Side by side in the first corner, that is the 42, making the move on the inside line. That is Crossley on Kieran Kay. And I think Dan Yates was going to go for the move on the inside line there as well. 77, that is Will Egby squeezing out Mackenzie Cresswell. So race battles everywhere you look. Even in the top 10, they are still pushing each other to the limit. And Kieran Kay gets a warning flag from the officials next time by. Fastest lap of the race so far is the 70. That is the kart belonging to the man at the front end of the field-ish, Dan Yates. He's in the midfield. Got a 41.77 for him. As Ryan Taylor-Truman is now really being caught by Tom Adams. Kieran Kay has a warning, 2 minutes and 2 on the clock, plus the additional lap, of course. But it is going to come down to the wire, we know that much. Tom Adams is giving it everything. He wants to go for his teammate. He wants to bow out of the year with a win as the vice champion in Junior Rotax. So it will be a really exciting run. Here he goes, Ryan Taylor-Truman. He's going to have a bit of a pressure from him. He didn't make the move because there's a yellow flag, and that is because we've had an off. That is Reese Hurd who's gone off. Reese Hurd battling away in the mid-pack, and unfortunately his race is now over. So Reese Hurd has had an incident there, and that has held up Tom Adams' attempt to go for Ryan Taylor-Truman. But now Tom Adams still has a bit of an opportunity to make it happen. And there's another off on the other side of the circuit as well, and that appears to me to be Dylan Wash-Jackson, I think. We've certainly got a couple of drivers off the circuit further back down the order. I think that's actually Daniel Yates. My apologies, Daniel Yates has gone off there. So yellow flag in 2 corners on the circuit as both cars have been abandoned essentially. Reese Hurd is at least trying to move his car off the line, but a rather frustrated Daniel Yates is not really keen to help out. But Tom Adams is all over the back of Ryan Taylor-Truman. Will Ellswood is all over the back of the 3rd place man, Will Jenkins. So the battle continues between these two. Tom Adams is running out of time to do anything about it. And so the competitors are now racing up towards the right-hander at midgets. They pass the wreckage of Daniel Yates' kart. And as one Coles Racing driver retires from the fray, 2 more pass him, battling for the race victory. Ryan Taylor-Truman in front of the E-plate. Tom Adams, the English champion. They go into the penultimate lap of the season. And so now it's going to be Will Jenkins battling for 3rd with Will Ellswood behind them as well. So, and there's an incident between Machi Hamera. Machi Hamera's gone off there as he battles wheel to wheel with Max Edmondson. So Edmondson and Hamera have gone off together there, unfortunately. So Hamera and Edmondson have dropped down the order. Hamera continues on, but Edmondson is out of the race. And that is devastating from his point of view. He needs to move the kart further off the line, unfortunately. And that's why, because the leaders are close up behind. Tom Adams is now having a look at Ryan Taylor-Truman. Here he goes for the switchback. Last lap. The last lap of the year is going to be an absolute dogfight between the 2 Coles Racing drivers, Ryan Taylor-Truman and Tom Adams. Tom Adams is going to go for it. Through turn 4, down the drop to Windies. Taylor-Truman holds the inside line. Tom Adams is going to come around the outside. Is there going to be a run up towards the bus stop? Tom Adams gets alongside. Here he goes. It'll break it down. And they've ended up tangling. Taylor-Truman loses the cut. And that means that Tom Adams is through into the lead. But will he be able to keep it? Taylor-Truman bows out of the car. He's absolutely devastated. Tom Adams is going to come through for a victory. But will it stand? The checkered flag flies and Adams wins. And it's a dead heat nearly for 2nd over the line as Jenkins just pits Ellswood. Oh, that was close between the 2 of them. Absolutely amazing to the death. Jenkins in front of Ellswood by 300ths of a second. But you never know, with that squabble on the last lap between Adams and Taylor-Truman, that could have been for the victory. Tin and Rourke is 4th from Babs, Casey and Stedman, with Chris Simpson in 8th. Walker is 9th from Jensen Watts, and then Knight, Collins and Meakin from Kay, Egby, Gibson and Shinner. Then James Crossley and Hugh Lawrenson from Mackenzie Cresswell and Ed Matthews. Jordan Morris is in 22nd in front of Ryan Taylor-Truman, who does cross the line in the end in 23rd. Very unhappy. Then Brandon Klein Nagelvort and Machi Hamera from Dylan Wash-Jackson, with the retirements, namely Max Edmondson, Dan Yates, Reese Hurd, Owen Allison, Oscar Hull, CJ Morgan, Miles Barthorpe and Joshua Poulade. So Jenkins and Stedman climb the points in the table. Kai Hunter is the champion. Adams is 2nd place, but will he be allowed to keep his win?
The drama would continue post-race as Adams would later be excluded for his part in the tangle with Taylor-Truman. So now Will Jenkins could grab his first win, ahead of Ellswood and Rourke.
We had a great start to the race, made some positions throughout the race, but towards the end, we lacked it towards the end. So it was a hard race, but good drive from everyone in the grid. I'd like to thank Team Play and my dad and everyone else.
Yeah, it was good. We struggled a bit at the start of the season, but in the end we found our pace and come second, which is good for championship points. Just hope the fame returns race engines and the DAF for a good weekend.
Yeah, well happy. It's been a long old year. We started off a bit rough, but we got to it at the end. I'd like to say a massive thank you to everybody at KR Sport and my family for supporting me all year. But yeah, it was a busy final. We managed to come out on top, so it was unlucky for Tom. He's been a great racing all year, but you know, I don't know, that's tough for him.